Why is it that so many of us find ourselves caught in the painful grip of jealousy, constantly checking her social media, wondering who she's talking to, and feeling that sickening knot in your stomach when she mentions another guy's name? You're smart enough to know it's irrational, yet somehow that knowledge doesn't stop the feeling from taking over. Jealousy is that unique emotion that can transform even the most confident person into someone they barely recognize. One minute you're secure in who you are, and the next you're interrogating her about who liked her latest post. It's exhausting, isn't it? But what if I told you that the solution isn't about controlling your jealousy, but about shifting the entire dynamic? What if, instead of you getting jealous, she started feeling that same magnetic pull toward you? Let's be honest here. The reason you feel jealous isn't simply because you're insecure or possessive. That's the surface level explanation we tell ourselves. The deeper truth is that jealousy flourishes in relationships where there's an imbalance in perceived value. When you believe, even subconsciously, that she has more options than you do, jealousy becomes inevitable. Think about it. You don't get jealous of things you don't care about losing. You get jealous when you perceive something as valuable and feel that its loss would significantly impact you. And right now, you've placed her on a pedestal so high that the fear of losing her creates that constant anxiety we call jealousy. But here's where most men get it wrong. They try to eliminate jealousy by monitoring her more closely, by attempting to control the situation, or by pretending they don't care. All of these approaches backfire spectacularly. Controlling behavior pushes her away. Pretending not to care creates emotional distance. And monitoring her? Well, that just makes you look desperate. The real solution requires something counterintuitive. You need to become the prize. I'm not talking about playing mind games or manipulating her emotions. I'm talking about a fundamental shift in how you view yourself and how you show up in the relationship. This isn't about making her jealous for revenge. It's about creating a healthy balance where both partners value each other equally. So, how do you become the prize? It starts with understanding a basic psychological principle. We value what we have to work for, we appreciate what isn't guaranteed, and we want what others also desire. The first step is to rediscover your independence. Remember the person you were before this relationship? The one with passions, friendships, and goals that had nothing to do with her? That person needs to come back. When was the last time you pursued something solely because it excited you? When did you last spend time with friends without checking your phone every 5 minutes to see if she texted? How long has it been since you felt complete without her validation? Many men make the mistake of making their partner the center of their universe. While that might sound romantic in theory, in practice, it creates a dangerous imbalance. No single person should be your entire world. That's too much pressure for them and too limiting for you. Start reclaiming parts of your life that don't involve her. Join that boxing class you've been thinking about. Reconnect with old friends. Plan that hiking trip you've been putting off. Not as a way to make her jealous, but as a way to remind yourself that you are a complete person with or without this relationship. This independence creates natural space in the relationship. And here's what happens in that space. She begins to wonder about you. When you're not constantly available, when you're not always the one initiating contact, when you have stories to tell about experiences she wasn't part of, that's when her mind starts to work in your favor. The second element is to expand your social circle. Again, not to make her jealous, but because a rich social life is attractive. When she sees you engaged in conversation with other people, laughing, being appreciated and respected by others, both men and women, it reinforces your value. There's something magnetically attractive about a person who can walk into a room and connect with people. It demonstrates social intelligence, confidence, and the kind of personality that others want to be around. And yes, this includes having female friends and acquaintances. Now, I need to be crystal clear here. I am not suggesting you flirt with other women or do anything to intentionally hurt her. That's manipulative and destructive. Instead, I'm suggesting you be the kind of man who can have comfortable, appropriate conversations with anyone, including women, without it being weird or threatening. The third component is excellence. Find something you're passionate about and become truly good at it. It could be your career, a creative pursuit, a sport, or a hobby. Whatever it is, pursue it with dedication and purpose. There's nothing more attractive than watching someone in their element, seeing them excel at something they care about. That passionate focus, that competence, that quiet confidence that comes from mastery. These qualities are irresistible. When she sees you pursuing excellence for its own sake, not to impress her, not to prove anything, but simply because that's who you are, it triggers a powerful attraction response. She'll begin to see you through new eyes, reminded of all the qualities that drew her to you in the first place. The fourth element might surprise you: vulnerability. Not the needy, approval-seeking kind, but the authentic, self-assured kind that comes from knowing who you are and being comfortable enough to show your true self. Many men believe they need to appear perfect and invulnerable to be attractive. The truth is quite the opposite. Genuine strength is shown in the ability to be open about your fears, your failures, and your feelings without seeking reassurance. When you can share your thoughts without needing her validation. When you can express what you want without fear of rejection. When you can be honest about your shortcomings without apologizing for your existence. That's when you demonstrate true confidence. By now, you might be wondering, how does all this make her jealous? The answer is that it creates a healthy kind of jealousy, the kind that's better described as increased investment. When you become a man with options, purpose, and self-respect, she naturally becomes more invested in keeping you. She begins to value your time and attention more because they're no longer guaranteed. She works harder for your affection because she knows you don't need it to be complete. And yes, she notices when others notice you. But here's the beautiful irony. By the time this shift happens, your own jealousy will have largely disappeared. Why? Because your sense of self-worth is no longer tied exclusively to her approval. You know your value, regardless of her response. You'll find yourself less concerned about who she's talking to or who's liking her posts, not because you care less about her, but because you care more about yourself. You'll be secure in the knowledge that you bring tremendous value to her life and to any relationship. This is the paradox at the heart of attraction. The less you need someone, the more they tend to want you. Not because you're playing games, but because neediness repels and confidence attracts. It's as simple and as complicated as that. Let me be clear about something though. This isn't about becoming arrogant or distant. It's not about pretending you don't care when you do. And it's certainly not about manipulating her emotions. This is about becoming the kind of man who genuinely doesn't need to be jealous because he knows his worth. It's about creating a healthy relationship dynamic where both partners value each other highly, rather than one desperately clinging while the other holds all the power. So what does this look like in practice? It means when she mentions another guy, you don't freak out. Not because you're suppressing your jealousy, but because you're genuinely secure. It means when she goes out with her friends, you genuinely wish her a good time, and then use that time to pursue your own interests. It means building a life so compelling that she wants to be part of it, rather than trying to force yourself into every aspect of hers. It means becoming so comfortable with who you are that the idea of her wanting someone else seems unlikely rather than terrifying. The beauty of this approach is that it's a win, regardless of the outcome. If the relationship strengthens because the dynamic becomes healthier, wonderful. If it ends because she wasn't right for you anyway, you're still a stronger, more complete man with a fulfilling life. The truth is, jealousy is a signal that something is out of balance, either in the relationship or within yourself. By addressing that imbalance through personal growth, rather than control or manipulation, you create the conditions for a healthier connection. So stop getting jealous, not by suppressing the feeling, but by becoming the kind of man who doesn't need to feel it in the first place. Become the prize. Build your own world that she wants to be part of, and watch as the entire dynamic of your relationship transforms. Because ultimately, the most attractive thing you can offer isn't constant attention or jealous protection. It's the opportunity to share in the adventure of your already fulfilling life.